Welcome to the session on list. List is one of the data structures in Python, others being the dictionaries and tuples. So we'll start with the list today. List is a collection of elements. In this example, I have taken a collection of 4 elements, say 10, 20, 30 and 40, and have stored it in a list named L1. The syntax to define a list is start the list with square brackets followed by the elements of the list separated by commas and end the list again with square brackets. So the square brackets denote a list in Python. So here I have taken 4 elements 10, 20, 30, 40. If I print this, the contents of the list, you can see the output is printed as 10, 20, 30 and 40. Now, as compared to strings in Python, lists are mutable. Strings, as we have already seen, are immutable. That is, once I declare a string, I cannot change the individual characters inside a string. But in list, I can change the element, that is the contents of the list. That is allowed. Now, for example, if I say L1 of say 2 equals say 60. Now, given a list of 4 elements 10, 20, 30 and 40, say I have taken a list L1. This first element is at index 0, that is, this is at L1 of 0. Next element will be at index 1, L1 of 1, and similarly this is at L1 of 2, and the last element is at an index 3. So now if I say list at an index 2, if I want to change the element at index 2, that is 0th index, 1th index, and this is at index 2. If I say 30, and then if I print the contents, you can see that 30 has been changed to 60. So I can change the contents of the string, meaning the lists are mutable. And the second thing to remember is list are a collection of elements, meaning as compared to the arrays in C, I need not have elements of only similar type in a list. List can contain elements of heterogeneous types because in Python everything is treated as an object. So I can declare a list, say L, with elements 10, 20, maybe 20.5. Another one, say I'll take a string hello, and maybe another one is one more integer value. So this is also allowed. I can store an integer value, an integer element followed by say a floating point element followed by a string and followed by again a integer. So I can just say print the list L. So this would get me an output 10, 20.5, hello and 20. And if I want to print say this element 20.5, I can say If I want to access it, I can just specify the index, say index 1, and this would access the element 20.5. Right? Next, one more example. So I take a list L2 with 3 elements 10, 2.5, and hello. So printing a list L2 would print all these elements 10, 2.5, and hello. This line, print the list element at an index 2, would print only hello. And this line would change the element at index 1, that is 2.5 here, would be changed to welcome. So if I execute this, the output would be, so print L2 would print the contents of the list, print only the element at index 2 would print only hello, and this would change 2.5 to welcome. So the list is changed to 10, welcome, and hello. Next example, I can have a list inside another list. In this example, L3 is a list containing 4 elements 10, 20, a string hello, and one more list that contains A and B. So in total, this list L3 contains 4 elements 10, 20, hello, and one more list. So if I want to access, say, this elements 20, so I would write list of index 1. So this would access element 20. If I want to access, say, hello, I would write L3 of indexes 3. Now, if I say L3 of 4, this would access the fourth element, that is the sublist A and B. For example, if I change this and write print the element at index 4, and if I execute this, sorry, there's an indentation error. Sorry. So this is a 0th index 1, 2, and 3. So I will change this to index 3. Sorry. Now, if I execute this, this would print the sublist which is present at an index 3. This is 0th index 1, 2, and 3. So the element present at index 3 is A and B. Now, if I want to access only this B, so at index 3 there is a sublist AB. Inside that, again there are 2 elements A and B. So for this inner list, this is index 0 and this is index 1. So if I want to access this element B, I would write list of, so first access the inner list at index 3. Inside that, access the element at index 1. So this would access this entire list, and this index would access this element B. If I execute this, you would get the element B. I can also try to change it, say I will change this element to, say, C. Then I will print the list L3. Now observe this, 10, 20, hello, A and B has been changed to 10, 20, hello, A and C. So this element B has been changed to C. So So the final things to remember in list are mutable, important thing, and then list are collection of elements, meaning I can have elements of any heterogeneous type. Next one, I can have list inside another list. So these 3 points we have seen it as the basics. Remember these 3 points. Next, instead of accessing the list elements directly using the index, if I want to access all the elements of the list one by one using any looping construct, I can use the while loop or for loop. The better thing is to go for a for loop, as we have seen in strings. Here is a simple example. I have taken a list L with 5 elements 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50. This function len, length of the list L, would return you the length of the list, that is 5, and that will be stored in this variable n. This is similar to the strings. There also, if I say length of some string, that would return the number of characters in the string. Similarly, if I say the length of a list L, it will return the total number of elements in a list. So I'm storing the total number of elements in a list in a variable n. Then I'm just printing the length of the list. Now, if I want to access the list elements using for loop, the syntax is similar to the strings. So I'll say for I or any variable of your choice in range n. Now the value of n is 5 since there are 5 elements. So this would be for I in range 5. This for loop will execute 5 times. That is, as many number of elements are there in this list. So this for loop will execute 5 times, and each time for the first iteration, I will be assigned a value 0, followed by I will be assigned a value 1, etc. till the last iteration I will be assigned a value 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So total 5 iterations. So I'm just printing the elements of the list in each iteration, or else I can say that if I say hello and the element, if I execute this, so first I'm printing the total number of element, that is 5. Then I'm using a for loop for I in range 5 times the for loop will run, and each time I'm printing hello followed by L of I. So L of 0 would print you 10. Next iteration L of 1 will print you 20. Next iteration L of 2 will print you 30, 40 and then 50. So the output will be hello 10, hello 20, hello 30 and hello 40 and hello 50. So this is one way to access the list elements through for loop, using for loop. The things can be made much more easier. I can take a list So I've taken a list L here with 5 elements, same 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Instead of taking the length of a list in a variable n and then accessing the list, I can simply give for I in L, that is I in list L, or else I'll say for element in list L. This is just a variable of your choice. If I use this for element in list L, this for loop will automatically execute as many number of elements are there in this list. Since this list contains 5 elements, this for loop will be executed 5 times. And each time the loop iterates, the variable element will be assigned one value from this list. That is, for the first iteration, element will be assigned a value 10. Next iteration, element will be assigned a value 20, and this will continue till the last iteration. Element will be assigned a value, say, 50. So this for loop will execute for a total of 5 times, and I'm just printing the value of element. I'll make it similar to the previous example. I'll say hello element. So this should print hello 10, hello 20, hello 30, hello 40, and hello 50. So this is the output. Hello 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. One more syntax. I can store the list elements in a variable here L and use it in the for loop, like for element in that list L. Or else, if I have not stored this list directly in a variable, I can use this directly in the for loop. So I can just say for element present in this list 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. This would also give you the same output, that is hello 10 till hello 50. This for loop for element in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 will run number of elements in this list 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That is, this for loop will run again 5 times. So both the syntax are similar. You can follow whichever syntax is comfortable for you people. This is all about using for loop to access the list elements. Last, few examples on the basics of list. I have taken two lists, A and B. A contains 3 elements, 10, 20, and 30. B contains 3 elements, 1, 2, 3. So this line, adding an element from A, that is A of 0 is nothing but 10 and B of 0 is nothing but 1. So this line would add 10 along with 1, that is 10 plus 1 would be 11, and that would be stored in a variable C. So the output would be 11. This is simple. But instead of using single elements like this, if I use, say, directly, if I say add list A with list B, the meaning of this is to append this list A with list B. The actual elements are not added here. 10 is not added with 1, 20 is not added with 2, and 30 is not added with 3, but instead this list A, which contains 10, 20, 30, for that list, the another list B, that is 1, 2, 3 will be appended and a new list will be created, and that is stored in D. Therefore this D now becomes a list. So the contents of the list will be 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, and 3. So remember this. The plus operator acts as operator for concatenation, and this is once again similar to the strings itself. The for loop and the operator plus and many more things are just similar to strings. There we are working on characters, here we are working on elements inside a list, and that's the only difference. One more operator, if I use star, say there's a list A with 3 elements 10, 20, 30. Now I'm telling the list A star 3 into 3. Now this operator star will multiply, or in other words I can say that this operator will replicate the given list the as many number of times specified. That is, A star 3 means this list A will be replicated 3 times. That is 10, 20, 30 will be replicated 3 times, and all those things will be appended together, and that is stored in E. So if I execute this, you can see 10, 20, 30 one time, 10, 20, 30 two time, 10, 20, 30 three time. So this becomes a new list, and this list is nothing but list E. The last operator is the slicing operator. So we have seen this in strings. So if I have a string, say str equals, say some welcome or something. If I say str, this would give me the entire string welcome. If I say str of 0 colon, or if I say just say colon, this would again give me the entire string welcome. If I say str of 0 and 4, this would give me from the first index till 4 minus 1, that is 0, 1, 2, 3. So this would print me W, E, L and C. And if I want to print it in reverse order, I can use -1, all those things. Same thing, all those things are applicable to list also. So if I take a list with 4 elements, say 10, 20, 30 and 40, and if I print this list L, output will be 10, 20, 30 and 40. And if I say list, give me a slice of the list, say 1 colon 3, that is 1 to 3 minus 1, that would give me 10 and 20. If it is confusing, we can take this. So this is 0th index, 1, 2 and 3. So if I say print this list of, give me the value till 1 colon 3. So index 1, so it will start here, so it will give me 20. Then this last index is not included, so 3 minus 1 is 2. From 1 to 2, that is 1 and only 2, so the output will be only 20 and 30, and that is the output here. If I say print list, nothing is specified here. If nothing is specified, default value is 0. Both are same. If I say 0 colon 2, it is same as telling empty colon 2. So I'll just write 0 here. So 0 colon 2 means 2 minus 1, it is 1. So 0 to 1. 0 to 1. It should print 10 and 20. So the output is 10 and 20. If I want to print the list in reverse order, I can say print list. So I can just say colon minus 1. So this would give me the list in reverse order. Now, if I want to print if I want to access only the elements at say odd position, that is only say if I want to access only 10 and 30, so I can tell print list starting index is 0, ending index is say 0, 1, 2, 3, and it is 3. That is, I'll give 4. 4 minus 1 becomes 3. 0, 1, 2, and 3. If I say, I'll give with an increment of 2. So this will give me only 10 and 30. So the string slicing and list slicing are similar. If you people are aware of string slicing, same things can be applied on list. One more thing, last is, as discussed in strings also, the index of both strings and list starts from 0. So this is the 0th index, 1, 2, and 3. Or else this index is represented by -1. This is represented by -2. This is represented by -3, and this would be -4. So if I say print the list from -4 till say -2, if I use this, now observe this. So this -4th index is this one, that is the first element, 10. -2 is this one index, that is 30. But in slicing, this last element will not be included, it will exclude this last element. Therefore, if I slice the string from -4 to -2, this will print me from -4 to -3. So this -2 will not be included, so I'll get the output 10 and 20. So I'll execute this, right? So be careful with the negative slicing index. If I use negative slicing index for specifying the starting and ending position, the indexing is like this: -1 from RHS to -n till LHS. But if I use it like this, print say 4, 2, colon, -1. Here this does not specify the starting index nor the ending index. This negative value specifies to access the list in reverse order. There's a difference between specifying a negative value in the index itself and specifying the value in the increment position. If I specify a negative value in this increment position, it means to access it in a reverse order. If I specify a negative value in the index itself for the starting and ending value, the index will be accessed as shown here.